And so both coaches, as is the custom on grand final day, I think with a rouge or two as we take a look at North Melbourne now.
Yeah, they were great last week, Dennis. We've seen also a lot of senior experience with Greg Epperson, played over 100 games with Footscray lining up at fullback. Ben Buckley, I doubt if he'll play centre half-back. He's a very good midfielder. Mathew Larkin, who started to find some very good senior form towards the end of the season as well. Richard Dennis, who's played in a senior premiership with the Carlton Football Club in 1987. And they had a very good following division last week with McKernan, Pyman and Bardsley, who killed the Footscray midfielders.
Mathew Larkin, a lot of experience there. Former senior skipper for 3 seasons. And 3 best and fairests with North. Demamiel, number 19. Can play at either end. So North Melbourne with the job in front of them.
Actually, it's interesting that the VSFL Grand Final is played under the Foster's Cup rules, in that we're playing 20-minute quarters with time on after every score and when the ball is out of bounds.
Just setting it up, Melbourne defeated Richmond in the qualifying final by 61 points, then defeated North in the second semi-final by 21 points. We've got the rematch this afternoon. The Demons qualified on top, 5 games clear of North. North defeated Carlton by 29 points in the second elimination final, and Footscray last week by 80 points in the preliminary final. So they played their best football in the final round last weekend. Can they upset the Demons? Melbourne, as Bernie mentioned, runners-up for the past 3 seasons. That's a weight to carry coming into a grand final, but then again, of course, it can be an incentive. Just ideal conditions, as David was saying before, for a grand final. The breeze not a factor. The ground in pretty good condition.
Absolutely delightful, in fact, Dennis. I was out there earlier doing the boundary line job for the under-19s. So I had a little walk through the centre square area. It has obviously been watered throughout the week. I did the old key test, Dennis, and it went quite easily into the centre wicket area. Completely different to last week, where it was like concrete, apparently. And it does look a lot better with that green vegetable dye.
That's not as applicable.
That's not instant grass.
The key test is not as applicable in a footy match, I've got to say that. But
look.
Okay, when he bounces it, it will leg break.
You won't see the ball bouncing as high as it was last week.
Well, the umpires in charge of the reserves grand final, Shane McInerney and Scott McLaren. We've got Melbourne going left to right at the start, and a huge leap in the middle, and knocked down cleverly by Doyle. Pyman, a tap up by Buckley. Bad bounce for Cracker. There's Larkin, number 9. Andy Cracker, yes, he is the brother of Jim and Phil, underneath the pack. And it's going to be a Melbourne free kick to Greg Healy.
He did appear to be taken high on a couple of occasions there, Andrew Cracker. Very tough decision, that.
Kick by Healy up towards half forward. Big punch. It comes to the front. Across the ground. Shocking bounce there. And able to steam onto the ball was Lamprill. And he was taken out of it after he got rid of the kick. And the umpire coming over to have a word here with Darren Tarkson. And relayed free down the ground goes to Bennett, who'll have the first shot for goal.
Well, let's hope his accuracy is much better than it was last time these two sides met, because he kicked 1 goal 6. Big Darren Bennett at full forward. He's led the Melbourne goal kicking on 2 occasions, in 1989 and 1990.
Kick from 48 metres. Gets the distance easily, but he's away to the left, 4 behind.
First score of the grand final, Darren Bennett. 4 goals in the qualifying final against Richmond, overshadowed, of course, by Darren Cuthbertson with his mammoth 13. Demamiel kicks in, stabs it towards the outer side wing. Only 1 flyer. Capuano takes the mark, gets the hand pass away. Coming through strongly down there was Anderson, upended. And a high tackle will result, I think, in a North Melbourne free kick. And this is Smith at centre half back. Smith goes down towards half forward. Buckley camped in front, got hands to it, couldn't hang on. Norrish breaks away alongside the centre circle, boots it down towards half forward, ill-directed. Smith's in the road, plenty of time to come away. Boots it back towards half forward. In the meantime, a whistle off the ball, and it will be a Melbourne free kick, I fancy.
There's a holding infringement there against North Melbourne. big waste there because North Melbourne breaking away very easily from half-back.
Sullivan takes the kick, goes out wide, and this is Pickering. Very experienced player. Michael Pickering. He's 30. Richmond's best and fairest back in '88 in the seniors. He's been dogged by injury since coming across to the Demons. Chance to score from here. Michael Pickering. 45 metres out. Kick is on the way. Slides across the face. Big pack at the fall of the ball. Cuthbertson. Goal to Melbourne.
Yes, well, he's a real opportunist there playing in the forward line alongside Darren Bennett. We see this in replay. The ball just holding up there slightly. Maybe the breeze just a little bit stronger than it was during the under-19s. But as we said earlier, the conditions absolutely ideal here at the MCG for football this afternoon.
Back in the centre. Well, neither ruckman got there. And the hand pass comes out from Dyson. Now Melbourne go further forward, up towards the pocket. Here's Bennett. 40 metres out from goal, close to the boundary line. Takes it back to the 50. A centering kick. No distance, plenty of height. Demamiel slides the hand pass away. Oh, an interception here and a big chance for Campbell, who snaps for goal and misses.
Cuthbertson and Keogh have their goals. Scramble in the middle. Yeats keeps it in front. Cracker rode a bump. Ball spills free. That's Dyson dragged off it. Back comes Cracker. We've got a whistle and a free kick is going, I think, to Cracker on the outer side.
There's sudden death on that decision, Dennis.
North Melbourne player is down. Meantime, the kick comes in towards half-forward, ill-directed, and this is Keogh. He's a centre half back, a little indecision. Now he chips it across out wide Norrish, or is it Yeats? It's Yeats up at half back and kicks it wider still, and the mark on the outer side is Mackay. Mackay comes across the ground, and the mark is held by Pickering.
That's Pyman in the trainer's hands there, so that'll be a big blow to North Melbourne early in this match if he's in much strife.
Well, he's had a sensational final series. Had 30 possessions in 3 quarters last week.
This is Burgmann. There's Pyman on his feet, but a little bit shaken. Meantime, Burgmann from about 55 metres. He'll kick from 60. Long kick. They'll contest about 5 metres out. Big pack. Campbell in from the side. Demamiel flicks it back. It's taken by Hilton, who thought about having a shot at goal, but he was across the line.
Yes, well, let's have a look what happened to Robert Pyman here. He's tackled fiercely from behind and ridden into the ground with his hands locked up underneath him.
Not a good feeling. In free fall. Demamiel. Melbourne by 14 points. The kick to the outer side from behind. Doyle was the leaper. Hit towards the boundary by Dwyer. Sullivan can't control it. It's out of bounds and will be thrown in.
So Melbourne have made a good start. They lead 2-2 to no score. Palm down to Larkin. He slides the ball across quickly up towards the centre of the ground. Here's another free kick. Advantage. No, it's coming back. North Melbourne ball. Back towards position in between half-back and wing. And the free kick down there to be taken by Mark Attard, who made a meteoric rise last year. Went through the under-18s and up, was drafted and played 3 senior games for North, but hasn't added to his senior tally this year. Mark Attard with the free. Big pack up at half forward. Hit the ground pretty hard. Buckley flicks the hand pass over. Here's Keogh, goal scorer, bursting out of the pack. Dwyer. Just can't get hold of it. Might come back to him. And the umpire eventually will ball it up. Fabulous under-18s game. Fancy 50 goals between the two sides in a grand final.
Yes, the favourites going down to the Western Jets. Only had lost 1 game previous to this grand final performance here this afternoon.
Free by Anthony Dwyer, and an excellent mark taken up there by Corey McKernan. 19-year-old. He had 1 senior game this year. McKernan goes long to the goal square. Well, there's nobody behind the pack. Pickering takes an uncontested mark.
Chips it out wide. This is Hilton in front, close to the boundary line. Slips, did well in a tight situation. Now he runs the boundary line, chips it towards the wing. Good kick too. Back goes Campbell. Couldn't hang on. Pyman coming back on him. Illegally, says the umpire. So Campbell has the free kick right on the wing. Under partly cloudy skies, he boots it down towards Bennett on the lead. Used his body very well. He's taken this mark about 55 metres out. He can kick it a long way. There's an open goal square. Coming on the lead, Cuthbertson. He doubles back. A very high kick. Floats it down towards the kickoff line. Cuthbertson camped underneath it. It bounces wide of everybody. Dyson in the pocket, running out of space, pulls it back. And the falling mark is taken by Eppelston, virtually on the goal line. Plays on. Some experience there. Gets it to Larkin, who chips it out wide. Relayed free kick. In any case, Smith had completed the mark. Pyman is on down the ground. Smith slips as a result. Shows a little bit of the ball to Melbourne, but Pyman takes it. He slips. So indications perhaps it's a little greasy down there. The ground has been watered a lot in the last few days. As Pyman goes towards half court, a strong mark is taken down there by Doyle. Doyle goes across the ground. Keogh presents himself. Runs through the middle. Keogh goes for distance. Probing kick on the lead. Cuthbertson. And he's marked at about 35 metres out.
North Melbourne already making a change. Coming on is Danilchenko, Jason Danilchenko. And I think it was Attard, the player, coming off the ground.
Well, Danilchenko, if he comes out there, perhaps needs some handcuffs to apply to Cuthbertson, who's doing very well at the present time. And Cuthbertson gets his second.
Kick from Healy is smothered in the middle. He goes back in, and burrowing his way through here is Dyson. Can't get clear, and the umpire will ball it up. And the umpire's playing a few relayed frees, really getting on top of whatever late tackles might be laid at the start of this grand final. Frees at the moment 5-4 in favour of North Melbourne on the cricket pitch area. Larkin wins the tap out. We'll give him that stat. Oh, and a diving attempt by Yeats. What a mark, the veteran. Out towards centre wing, too high for Healy. And it's taken over the boundary line by Buckley. It finishes up just about in the crowd.
Yeah, it's just slightly greasy at the moment, Dennis, but I think by the time the main game starts, the conditions here will be absolutely perfect.
Boundary throw in just forward of the wing for North. They haven't been forward too often. Close to the boundary line, that's Norrish. It's the hand pass in. Pyman goes off the ground. The ball curling around and stays in. But it's blocked off by Melbourne. Yeats clears out of defence, straight onto the chest of Keogh. Ruck roving and dominating. Gardner medal form towards the outer side of the ground. Burgmann a lead. Can't quite take the mark. A chance here for Mackay, number 52. With him is Danilchenko, who's just come off the bench. He slides down, gave the hand pass straight to Sullivan. Sullivan goes round the boundary line, steers the pass low. Cuthbertson again. This time the ball's punched away. Back to Sullivan. Up towards the goal square, but short of Bennett. And the mark is taken by Damamiel.
Damamiel across the goal face. In the opposite pocket, Bardsley chips it wide towards the grandstand wing, waiting for it. Capuano couldn't complete the mark. Coming in solidly on him was Keogh, and Keogh's been penalised. Capuano will take the free. Just forward of left half back. Tall young man. He boots it down towards half forward. Big fly by Mann, missed it. Waiting behind an opportunity, McKernan. Back to Mann. Mann kicks inside the 50. One out contest down there. Dennis and Robbins arriving to Molloy. And Robbins played it pretty well. Smashed it up against the goalpost, conceding a behind. North running with a couple of tall fellows. Capuano changing with McKernan on the forward line. A little more size than Melbourne, but at the moment it's the mobility of Melbourne as Molloy gets it over the top to Yeats, who swings it out wide. This is Pickering, right half back, goes towards the wing. Up goes Campbell. It's fisted away from behind towards the boundary line. Coming through solidly, Pickering once more, and pushes it across the line. Smith did well for North. Gained about 20 metres with a punch, and Pickering content for a boundary throw in down towards left half forward. The opposition, there's Doyle. Works his way in front of Capuano. Capuano at the second attempt towards the boundary line. Keogh has been in everything. Oh, that's terrific in a tight situation. Feeds it across to Pickering. The clever hand pass comes further afield to Dyson. Dyson goes down towards half forward. Bennett out of position. Knocks it down intelligently. Now a chance for Hilton. He runs to the pocket. Oops, a daisy. He puts it out of bounds. Not his intention. Sometimes it happens. The boot comes up between the hands. What can you do?
Yes, lovely little tap down there from big Darren Bennett. He realised he was out of position at the last moment. and it just didn't sit right for Hilton.
Bennett and DeMamiel. Bennett to the back, a big thump on that. Larkin gets the hand pass away, and North Melbourne moving out of defence. McCarthy, long kick to half forward. All Melbourne, good leap, an excellent mark. Lamprill, who at the start of last season kicked a goal with his first kick in league football to win a game for Melbourne against Geelong. He hasn't added to his goal tally in his league career since. Smith, high or low, one way or the other, he's going to get the free kick. Sean Smith up towards centre half forward. McKernan interfered with, will take the free. North keen to move it on quickly. They need their first goal. Dennis couldn't take the mark, and Robbins clears for the D's across the half back line, and he was pretty happy that that went over the line.
Well, I don't think that was the intention at all. I think it cannoned off the umpire.
It did, yes. Yeah. Played it off the white.
Off the white, exactly.
There's the Melbourne bench.
A few laughs there about that little incident.
Happy with the situation at the present time. They lead by 19 points. This is Dyson. Pulls it back towards the middle. Hilton has it knocked away by Buckley. Recovers brilliantly and again gets by Cracker. Feeds the hand pass away. This is Healy. Healy chips it across field. Norrish. Trouble for North now. Norrish can run at the defender. Pop it over the top to Burgmann. The chain reaction is on. Well, he should have hand passed. He gets his second attempt. He spiked it. He gets it to Bennett. Bennett 10 metres out. Kicks a goal.
Right now, when you
Well, it's looking like a bit of a flogging at the moment. 4-2 to one behind. And the one behind was rushed into the post. Burgmann punches on again. It worked last time, so he tries it again. Well done. Mackay inside the 50, very wide. Cuthbertson. And the ball beats players out of bounds.
Wonder if he practices that.
He's showing a bit. Shane Burgmann, son of Lloyd Burgmann, former Demon. Came up through Teal Cup football, under-19s premiership. Good grounding at Melbourne. Smith, a high ball. Healy underneath it. Glad it's him, not me. And the punch away goes to the boundary line. He couldn't keep it in. And there'll be a throw-in. Greg Healy, whose famous brother will be heard later this afternoon on 7 Sport. Jared, Brownlow medalist, doing the commentary. And you wonder the future of players like Greg Healy, with lists being cut to 42. That's a terrific bit of play by Mackay, dodging and weaving and floating a hand pass over the top.
Yes, Drew, I think there may be a few playing their last game out here this afternoon.
Anderson out of defence, boots it around the outer side. Lamprill the flyer, it bounces back to him. Pyman got him, but not before he got the hand pass to Dyson. This is Pickering on the overlap. He kicks it down towards the attacking 50. Capuano goes up, judges at best, takes the mark at centre half back. Rather untidy the hand pass. Anderson breaks away from half back, boots it towards half forward. Big pack at the fall of the ball. Man got his hands to it. Now an opportunity for Melbourne. Dyson has been very good, goes over the top. This is Yeats. Yeats kicks it down towards half forward. Bennett on the lead again, almost the juggled mark. DeMamiel comes back. Sock is off the ground. North have got the numbers. Anderson on his own half back line. Away comes Denolchenko, who boots it towards the outer side. Well taken by Goodwin. Dyson forward of the wing now. He pulls it back. Burgmann in open space can take it and think about going. He did momentarily, then is told to stop by his teammate. So Burgmann, who's been pretty good early.
There's another change by North Melbourne. Dennis Armstrong on. So swinging in the changes, trying to get something happening here in this first quarter, North Melbourne.
Capuano went off.
Burgmann from 55. Not quite the carry. They'll contest about 5 metres out. Knocked forward by Sullivan. And across the line it goes after Bennett gave us the big leap there.
Well, he called it, Dennis. They did go in with a very tall side, North Melbourne, and maybe with Capuano going off and Armstrong coming back on, they've just readdressed the balance a little bit. Grant DeMamiel, an 18-year-old graduate from the Teal Cup, goes the short pass, and the mark's taken by Tarkson, who went to Carlton, played league footy, but came back to North where he started. DeMamiel takes the hand pass from Eccleston, drives it long towards the centre of the ground. It got through the pack. Goodwin charging through like a wild bull, number 32. Remember Andy Goodwin when he played for Richmond? He's going to get a free. He's tripped up then. Goes out wide towards centre wing to Healy. Nobody in front of Greg Healy. Goes wide for Cuthbertson, who's already kicked 2, but this time over his head, and Eccleston takes the mark.
Well, North under plenty of pressure, though. Melbourne looking by far the better side at the present time. As we said at the outset, warm favourites this afternoon. Loose ball on the outer side wing. Melbourne once more. Campbell shovels the hand pass out. Shovel, the operative word. Scholl comes away with it. Advantage was paid for North as Scholl boots it down towards half forward. Man the flyer in that pack. Knocks it out wide, or tried to. Cracker goes down. On top of him, I think it's Dyson.
Tackle too high, Jim. Yeah, too high the tackle. The umpire awarding the 3 to Melbourne.
Yeats across the ground. This is Lamprill. Left centre wing, Lamprill. Comes back onto his right boot. And that's a pretty good kick towards half forward. Anderson is down there with Sullivan. Runs free behind. Hilton left the ball behind. Getting back is Anderson. Feeds the hand pass out wide. Now close to the boundary line. North a chance to bring it away. Tuxon gets it across to Smith. Met solidly by Campbell, but boots it around the outer side wing. Dyson. And the running players of Melbourne, Dyson and Keogh, causing all sorts of problems. Dyson, I'd venture to say, is playing in the centre. Squares the ball. Molloy meters in the clear. North have got to mark better. Molloy, a probing kick inside the 50. In from the side. I think it's Pickering's mark. Well, Melbourne, 3 of them in best position to mark it. And eventually it was Pickering who had to beat one of his own to take that grab. Watch it again.
So I just wonder about big Darren Bennett there, whether he shoved his opponent to Manuel out of the contest. The umpire didn't see it that way, and it was then the Melbourne players lining up for that mark, Pickering and Cuthbertson.
Pickering kicking at his first goal. Melbourne's 5th. They lead by 26 points. Add 6 to that.
The big act.
Melbourne coached by former Hawk Peter Russo. And he might be one of the many in line for the Hawthorn senior coaching job. Who knows? Is Anderson trying to spin through a tight situation but can't get out of it? And the umpire will ball it up. Been a queue of former Hawthorn players at Glenferrie, hasn't there, Bernie?
Certainly. I think one of them was Don Scott, wasn't he? He went and had a little chat, trying to repair all the damage he's done over the years at Hawthorn.
Well, the club should come to us. We'll tell him he knows nothing about the caper. Here's another free kick, and there have been quite a few. 10-7 now in favour of North. This is a Melbourne free. Your Cuthbertson sandwich this time at the back of them. Tuxon delivers a good little hand pass. Eccleston. Danilchenko to Smith. Towards the centre of the ground, ill-directed. And right on his own is Goodwin. Andy Goodwin going for a gallop. Steers the pass beautifully to Bennett.
I'll tell you what, Andy Goodwin's had his knockers over the years, but as far as a goer goes, there's none better than Andy Goodwin.
Yep.
And his physique at the moment is fantastic. In sensational fitness level at the moment, Dennis.
Stab pass distance for Bennett, 50 metres. Look at that.
Oh.
Demons can do no wrong. 6-3 to a point.
2 goals to Bennett, 2 goals to Cuthbertson. And Melbourne continue along their merry way. Keogh's kicked 1 and Pickering's kicked 1. Here we see Goodwin. Look at fantastic muscle definition on Goodwin as he passes that ball there to Darren Bennett on the lead. And a magnificent kick for goal on most occasions, Darren Bennett. Kicked that one from 50 metres, split the middle.
So the margin out to 38 points now. Is the time remaining till quarter time. Armstrong goes up and wins it down for North. Man can't control it. Keogh once more was held without it. He'll get the free kick. Dual guard in the middleist. Rather untidy hand pass. Pickering goes over the top. Made it look good. Dyson out wide. Yeats has got it now. Melbourne putting on something of a clinic. Campbell has it. Sullivan's on for the short one. And he's got it just outside the 50. And that could almost be 50. He was
you're right,
very late.
There's no need to hold him there, was there?
No. Didn't look too bad, but by the same token, on the borderline. Sullivan goes for distance, slides it across the face. Bennett. Oh dear. Almost fell into his arms there. He was waiting about the 3rd man in line, and somehow the ball found a passage through the pack and onto his chest.
Yes, Manuel just took his eye off the ball there. We see him looking for his teammate there to come in to assist.
Armstrong, but he missed the ball. Bennett gets his 3rd. So the margin is 44 points.
Yes, and Melbourne looking to break the drought. And of course, their 4th successive grand final appearance. They've lost their last 3.
Well, they've got the tap on, I think.
Playing in the right frame of mind at the moment to win this one, Melbourne. Terrific performance early.
We're back in the middle. 2 minutes remaining to quarter time. Bounce going nowhere from the middle. Whistle's gone. It's going to be a Melbourne free kick. Yeats going back to take it. And the chance for the Demons to get more before the first break. We're playing 20 minutes plus time on, and there's 7 goals to nothing. Kicked by Yeats, marked by Eppelston. Slides the hand pass to Smith. He goes towards the outer side. He's downed after he got rid of the kick by Cuthbertson, and a relayed free up the ground to be taken by Dwyer. Son of Twinkle Toes Laurie Dwyer. Over centre wing. Man, terrific handball. Buckley had plenty of time. A centering kick. At centre half forward, the contest is on. Dennis crashes through the pack, goes without it. Molloy goes for a bounce. Another son of a former player, so there's plenty. Great kick to Bennett. Well, a top kick covering at least 55 metres, and Bennett, what a climb.
Yeah, great mark by Darren Bennett, but Melbourne setting up things across half-back. The North Melbourne haven't got the support there when Richard Dennis flew for the mark. When it's built to the ground, the Melbourne half-backs just took that ball away, as they've done repeatedly right throughout this first quarter.
Bennett a chance to have 4 before quarter time. Ex-Eagle, if you've got good memories. Away to the left and a behind. I read somewhere recently he's going over to the States and he's going to put up his hand to be a kicking coach in gridiron football. Darren Bennett.
Why wouldn't they use him? Don't worry about him coaching. Just get him out there with the ball and let him kick it.
That's right. You don't have to actually get a kick or a run about, do you? Just
exactly.
Have to...
Mathew boots in towards the outer side. Doyle in from the side. Got hands to it. Couldn't hang on. Pyman at close quarters. Gets it across to support. McCarthy boots it around the outer side. Melbourne have got the numbers. That man Keogh again pumps them back into attack. Ill-directed this time though. And Smith is in the road. The clock almost expired for the first term. Boot comes back towards the middle. McKernan up very early. It falls behind. Keogh again in the thick of it out to Molloy. Molloy boots it down inside the attacking 50. North leading the race down here. Scholl tracks it towards the boundary line and runs it across.
Yes, the other one I heard also this week, Drew, was that Tony Campbell was going to retire from AFL football and take up a kicking position in America.
He could market the gloves over there.
So I don't know whether that one's right or not, but that's what I heard this week. We'll wait and see.
There's the siren for quarter time. Outstanding turn by the Demons, who lead 7-4 to a behind. So the margin 46 points in this goal-kicking orgy we've had today continues here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Grand Final Day.
Dial a phone number you wish to vote for. Mark 1, Tony Modra, Adelaide. Mark 2, Mathew Phoebe, Tasmania. Mark 3, Chris Waterman, West Coast. Mark 4, Alistair Lynch, Fitzroy. Mark 5, Sean Wren, Adelaide. The winner of the Mark of the Year will also receive a V6 Mitsubishi Magna. You have until 4 p.m. today to register your votes.
Quarter time in the reserves grand final, and Melbourne, who went in as clear-cut favourite, look at that, 7-4, 46 to North Melbourne, 1 behind. Bennett kicked 3 goals, Cuthbertson 2, 1 each to Keogh and Michael Pickering. Essendon players who later on will be playing in the seniors grand final out there having a bit of a look. That's Mark Harvey and Ricky Olorenshaw, and Sean Denham, David Calthorpe, all having a look at the conditions out there, and Neil Danaher with them. Football manager Danny Corcoran. Well, the crowd continues to build up all the time, and these shots just across the road at the Richmond station, and they're pouring into the MCG any way they can get here. Souvenir stands doing a great trade outside the station, and now just outside the ground. It's always a colourful day. I don't know what it is about Melburnians, but you get to share of idiots on Melbourne Cup Day and Grand Final Day. And,
Zealots, I think, is the word.
Tickets wanted, yes.
Well, they just add a little bit of colour to it, Drew.
And from the top of the Regent Hotel, that's the MCG on a magnificent day for weather. And down on the boundary line, Roscoe and Good morning, Roscoe. We're into afternoon, not quite. It's good morning. And Peter McKenna.
And good morning to you too, Drew. And Roscoe, your old mob getting a heck of a hiding here. What can they do?
Well, Johnny Law, the coach, Pete, was very, very keen to get out in the ground. He's actually out in the ground before half his players woke up, I think. That first quarter just got it right away from them, Pete. Midfield particularly, he was very disappointed with his players. Ability to even just look at their players and try and match up. And he said a lot of their blokes just were coasting along. They were daydreaming. He said the game's already started and Melbourne have kicked 4 goals before some of his players woke up. He pleaded with his senior players, particularly Benny Buckley and Mathew Larkin, Pete, to really wake up, get the blokes going. And midfield, blokes like Keogh and the like were just chopping them right up. So they've got a man up and just play one-on-one football and try and resurrect their game for the rest of the quarter.
Well, Peter Russo, on the other hand, Drew, well, he was very pleased with their performance, particularly Rod Keogh around the middle and the way the forward line's working with Cuthbertson and, of course, Darren Bennett. But he said it's only 1/4 of the game to go. And I was talking to Greg Wells, and he said that a long, long way to go yet, and football's a funny game.
Yes, Paul Salmon amongst the Bombers having a look. It is a funny game, but I want to get very funny to throw it from here. Oh.
I think the Bombers will be very pleased with the conditions they see here at the MCG today, Drew. Big Paul Salmon, ideally suited to the conditions here with his high marking.
Start of the second term, then the margin 45 points and a centre square infringement. Doyle's got the ball and the free, so Melbourne take off where they left off. Attacking as Doyle boots it well inside the 50. Bennett under the ball. Man has gone in defence. Demamiel's gone on the forward line as the hand pass came out from Healy. Chipped out wide there by Keogh. It's taken now in the pocket for Melbourne and swung back by Hilton across the goal face. Burgmann is down there, got hands to it. Man leads back in the race close to the boundary line. Still Melbourne battle on out there. This is Norrish now. They've done very well in a tight situation. Initially outnumbered. Sullivan's kick just missed by Bennett. Sliding in there Eppleton. It comes back to Bennett. Over the ball is Cuthbertson. He's working against Eppleton and we've got a whistle. So a bounce about 15 metres out from Melbourne's attacking goal. They lead 7-4 to a behind. Cuthbertson has been a live wire on the forward line so far with 2 goals for the Demons. Coming off 13 in the qualifying final. Bennett goes up, wins it down. Sullivan! Melbourne get further away.
Sullivan kicking his first goal. And a great season last year did Chris Sullivan. His debut season, son of Tony Sullivan, the former halfback flanker. He played 16 games in 1992. But couldn't add to that tally in 1993. Terrific ruck work there by Darren Bennett at full forward.
Back in the middle for the ball up. There's Keogh winning possession number 10. He had 9 in the first quarter. Up towards half forward. Campbell. Second greatest thing to come out of Traralgon since Bernie Quinlan. Smith, he's 10 possessions as well. On the run now for North is McCarthy, up towards short of the 50. Goodwin, excellent mark. And Yeats on the run. Kick by Graeme Yeats. No great penetration with the kick, but it was well delivered and found the mark with Molloy. Cuthbertson leading again. Oh, the good mark out in front of his face.
Well, this is absolutely too easy, isn't it? It's all one-way traffic at the moment. North Melbourne, after winning by 80 points last week, absolutely annihilating Footscray, and yet they look a completely different side this week.
Fair bit of distance on this. 51 metres. Kick by Cuthbertson is magnificent. Well, we look as though we're in for one of the greatest hidings of all time. It's 8-4 to a point.
Cuthbertson 3 goals. Darren Bennett 3 goals, playing alongside each other in the full forward pocket region, actually both playing out of the goal square. And it's working beautifully at the moment. Here's the lead again by Cuthbertson. That's what he does best. Out in front of Eppleton, awarded that mark, and that is a magnificent kick from the 50-metre line.
So the margin is 57 points. North yet to get their first goal of the afternoon. Armstrong punches them towards half forward. Tarkson didn't have it, was carried forward. Will get the free kick, still inside the centre square. And you can almost hear John Law's halftime address now. I'm sure that Essendon will crack a mention in there somewhere after what they did against the Crows a couple of weeks back. That's the last card in the deck as Tarkson boots it down towards full forward. It's fisted away by Goodwin, taken by Pyman, settles, kicks. Don't tell me. He's missed. Pyman missing to the right-hand side, drafted from the South Australian Eagles. He was the sixth man taken last November. Handy player too. Didn't consolidate a regular berth with North in the seniors this year as Robbins goes in short. This is Norrish. Chips it around the outer side. Melbourne have only got one man out there. As a result, they're in trouble. Bardsley boots it back towards full forward. How will it bounce? It'll bounce through for a goal. Or was it Tarkson? Tarkson was the man who kicked it.
Bardsley, as you called first up, Dennis. Here's Yeats going backwards. Was he sure which way he was going? Bouncing ball for Hilton. And Hilton round the corner. Smith is there. Clever mark by Campbell.
Oh, great mark, wasn't it? Back with the flight of the ball, Adrian Campbell.
Lazy looking left footer. Bennett. Oh, can do no wrong. Darren Bennett on fire.
Yes, they moved Manuel off him in that quarter-time break. Peter Mann is now playing at full-back on Darren Bennett. But there we see the previous mark there taken by Adrian Campbell. But Darren Bennett and Cuthbertson, the two-pronged attack, absolutely killing North Melbourne defence.
5 marks for Bennett, coming up for his 8th kick. But a disappointing result. And it was marked just in the field of play, and they mucked it up. North, they're not out of trouble yet. Eventually, Danilchenko towards the centre of the ground. Buckley needs to lift. Punch on by Tarkson. Chance for Bardsley, the goal scorer. The lone goal scorer for the Kangaroos. Back to Tarkson. He's in trouble. Goodwin. Look out, Tarkson. He hooks it back. Bardsley and Tarkson trying to combine here. They've lost control of it, and the ball is out of play. It all seems a bit haphazard for the Kangaroos. Christian Bardsley there, number 13 for North Melbourne. Interesting story. He comes from Scoresby. Played 3 games as Christian Anning and changed his name. John Law thought he had a new player on the list. The same bloke.
This is Molloy. He got it from Dyson. Like the Sri Lankan cricketers. The boot comes down towards half forward, but in the road down there is Foll. Plays on immediately, boots it out towards the grandstand wing. Reaching over the top is Mackay. He's been penalised. Wire gets the free and plays on immediately. Boots it to half forward. Big leap from behind. Missed down there though by Doyle. It runs free. Robbins lays it off to Lamprill. He's got men on this side. He comes back to them too. This is Healy. He can run it out now. In fact, no one near him. Healy can run it up towards the half-back flank and then uses the ball well. Finds Sullivan. Runners inside. Pickering is one. He demands the ball, but that's ignored. Sullivan goes across the ground. They've got men everywhere. Yeats finds Dyson, who's been terrific. Dyson 60 metres out, settles. Vacant goal square. Goes for distance. It's a shocking kick. Out of bounds on the full. In the right full forward pocket. Shake of the head there from Dyson. He's got plenty of the ball. Just taking a look at his figures. 11 possessions so far early in the second term.
Kick in by Eppelston. No mark at front. Pyman, not the same dominance as he's been in previous finals. Dyson once more goes the short pass. And Campbell marks just inside the line, about 35 metres from goal. Was at Footscray. He was the leading goal kicker in the seniors at Footscray with the magnificent tally of 21 goals. Came to Melbourne in the swap with Luke Beveridge. Oh, not bad. Hey, how do you like that?
In this Sunday's
By 56 points, the ball is on the forward line for North, but not for long, as Healy gets a hand pass away. This is Robbins. Time to stop, check, and chip it out wide. Pickering bobs up in open space. He's claimed it just forward of left half back. Goes on by hand back to Healy. So a couple of veterans combine there forward of half back, and Healy comes down towards half forward. Danilchenko worked his way in front, was going to get a free. Advantage is paid. Scholl's hand pass, an awkward one now for Anderson. Anderson tries to beat the tackler, but Pickering got him. The pressure is very good. That time applied by Doyle. He got the big man down. Loose ball picked up by Goodwin. Goodwin's hand pass comes out wide. This is Hilton. Hilton kicks inside the 50. In front, Cuthbertson. Eppelston over the top, and it's out of bounds. Well, a good tackle back in midfield. McKernan was brought down by Doyle. and then Melbourne won the ball back, and that's been a hallmark of their football so far, the pressure, the tackling, and they're finding space when they've got the ball. Cuthbertson's been very good on the forward line. 3 goals so far. Throwing in down there. Pyman couldn't control it. Larkin, who's been pretty quiet, comes away and boots towards midfield. McKernan's in front this time. Will get a free. Reaching over the top. Goodwin was the offender. At close quarters, the hand pass comes across to McCarthy, who boots it down towards half forward. And Bauer on the ground and in the action has the ball at right half forward. Goes looking for Mathew, but it falls in short, and the mark is held by Molloy. Keogh is onto the outer side, as is this man Norrish, and Norrish can run it up the ground. Norrish's second bounce will kick now wide for Sullivan. There's about 5 metres in the clear. He's got this one. Oh, gets by Anderson. He goes around the outer side. Little chip pass down towards the pocket. Awkward one down there. Eppleston, the better recovery this time to Mann, and a chance for a counter-attack here from North as the kick goes towards the outer side. Buckley, haven't seen a lot of him, gives it to McCarthy. McCarthy kicks inside the 50. Mathew. Good mark.
A brilliant mark, wasn't it? He could have got the hand pass on actually to Tarks on there. So you better make sure he kicks this one, but that is a great mark by Mathew, who started the game at fullback on Darren Bennett. We see Tarkson, well, we don't see Tarkson, but he just charged through there, and the hand pass certainly was on.
North need this one. They trail by 56 points. He chips at goal, and he's just snuck it through, I fancy. He has.
So North Melbourne add to their tally, double their goal-kicking tally, in fact. That's their second goal. They're trailing very badly on the scoreboard. 64 plays 14. A little bit of how do you do between Robbins and Mathew. Haydn Robbins, of course, a very fiery customer. Has played a fair few senior games with Melbourne.
We're back in the middle. Clean possession taken by Doyle. Punched down by Danilchenko. Campbell's hand pass to Sullivan. He threads through a ripper. It sits up beautifully for Pickering, and Pickering goes for goal. Should have kicked it, but missed to the right. 1-1 to Michael Pickering. Ex-Richmond player. Andy Cracker sitting down on the bench. He was with North. He left, went to Sandringham. Premiership year last year with Trevor Barker. Back at North. Mann kicks in. Big pack gathers. Campbell in front. Can't quite take the mark. Hacked out of there by Bardsley. Dyson. Oh, a clever hand pass by Norrish. Dyson again, setting it up for Campbell. Campbell's handball is good. Burgmann, 40 metres out. Dodges one, dodges two. But was under pressure with his left foot kick across the face of goal. It's punched for the boundary line, and out she goes.
They do certainly need a spark from their senior players, the players with senior experience. Larkin, Buckley, players of that ilk. They really need to lift their game around midfield for North Melbourne.
Burgmann goes up, gets it down. Keogh is grabbed by Buckley. Away comes Scholl. He boots it towards the wing. Awkward one for the big fellow Armstrong. Doyle did well in a tight situation. Flicks it across towards Healy. His drag down. Still the ball runs free. Armstrong, nicely done. McKernan came in there too. Got it across to this man Scholl. Scholl breaks through the wing. Was taken high as you saw, but gets the kick towards centre half forward. And McCarthy completes the mark about 55 metres out from goal. McCarthy goes for distance. Good looking kick too. Robbins goes back. Mathew is with him. It's offline and through for a behind. North will take anything they can get at the present time. 2-3 to 10-5. Here's Scholl. Watch this one.
I like the way he just continued on though, Dennis. He didn't worry about it.
Melbourne trying to work it out of defence again. Healy, who's been clever in this term, back to Keogh. Keogh measures the options and chips it in. Mackay has got it. Forward of half back, boots it down towards half forward. Melbourne with the numbers, but in from the side. Reading it best is Smith. Sean Smith from half back, chips it short. Up in front, Armstrong. Good grab. Just forward of the wing. Bright sunny conditions now, in contrast to how we started with the cloud about. Armstrong, the crowd is building too. Of course, the big game later this afternoon. Carlton and Essendon as Lamprill drifts in and takes the mark. Something of an anticlimax this one so far. With Melbourne dominant, Doyle is getting a free kick. No, he's not. The umpire's coming in insisting the ball go back to Lamprill. 10-5, 2-3. Lamprill towards the wing. From behind, Campbell is up. Buckley reaches over the top. Mackay's got the crumbs to Keogh. Knocked up getting possessions. Keogh on the wing. Decides to walk. Kicks it towards half forward. Hilton takes it. Quickly gets it to Mackay. Confronted Mackay. Stumbles. Well, he had a kick in there somewhere. It's like Gaelic football. It comes to McCarthy. Gets the hand pass away. The hand pass in turn from Smith not particularly good. This is Scholl.
Kick by Scholl from just forward of centre wing towards the 50. And the ball goes out of play for a throw-in. Pat on the back for Doyle. Greg Doyle played in the Dandenong Premiership side in the VFA in 1991. He goes in ruck. Ooh, can't clear the area. Tarkson a hard one. It's hacked out of there by Buckley, out of bounds on the full. So nothing going right for the Kangaroos. They trail 10-5 to 2-3, and we're midway through the second quarter. Kick by Robbins. Big pack here. Oh, what a climb at the back, but no mark. Doyle feeds out the hand pass to Healy. Ruckman and Rover combining. Healy, you're in trouble, son. And was forced to give the hand pass away to the boundary line.
Yes, he went the wrong way there, Drew, with Kevin Dyson doing the shepherding on Dwyer. And in the end, Healy just ducking his head right into that tackle.
Boundary throw in. Doyle, clean possession on the left boot to half forward. Scholl, his brother Craig Scholl plays in the seniors. There's a bit going on here.
Well, Scholl's getting the free kick, but he was the instigator of this little incident.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Throwing the elbow back and reacting there, the Melbourne player.
Bit lucky Scholl here. What's this? Oh,
exactly. Free kick in the end awarded against Burgmann, but only reacting as you would expect.
Now free kick against Goodwin. And McKernan to take it from centre wing. Up towards centre half forward. Dennis. I don't think he's had a touch, Richard Dennis.
No, Lamprill playing a great game, whether on him or on Dennis.
McCarthy to Dennis. His first touch is a goal, is it? Yes.
And I think it's Tarkson, and they're certainly into it.
Oh,
some good ones being disposed of.
Goodwin was working at close quarters there. Meantime, Janelchenko comes through with a sense of humour. He puts it down towards the fighters, and Dennis comes over the top. Drew's getting the best out of him. About to kick his second goal, I'd suggest, from about 35 metres out. There's Andy Goodwin.
He should have learnt about that boxing caper. I remember he had a little bit of a blue with Michael Murphy in Adelaide a couple of years ago.
Meantime, Richard Dennis. Shocking effort. He's missed to the left-hand side. Well, he had him in a headlock and didn't quite know what to do next. It's one of those situations. What do you do when a chap is in there sort of wanting to go on with it? He let one go, but not much to it. At least what we saw. Robbins.
It was a pretty good one there.
Robbins to the outer side. Speaker Drew Morfitt. Close to the boundary line. The hand pass comes from Evans, who's on the ground now for Melbourne. Back he comes again, the big blonde. And the ball is close to the boundary line. It's out of bounds and will be thrown in. So 10-5, 3-4. Both sides have added 3 goals in this term. So North Melbourne just starting a quarter late. There's Evans. Here's Armstrong and Doyle. Doyle, number 26 in front, tries to work it down. He'll get the free kick. So Tarkson, a feisty customer, is having a bit to do. That was him again in the foreground there. Meantime, Doyle with the ball on the outer side. Just forward of half back. Goes down towards half forward. Campbell's the target. Up he goes in front. Smith tries to fist away. Janelchenko leads back in the race close to the boundary line. Confronted there by Hilton. Ball runs along the boundary line for about 10 metres. Burgmann's got it, but across, and it will be thrown in.
Just under 6.5 minutes to go to half-time in the reserves grand final. Melbourne well on top. Adrian Campbell wins the tap down. It goes to Smith. He loses control of it. It's kicked out by Dwyer up towards centre wing, and the whistle's gone. Advantage played, and the advantage lasted about 1 split second.
But the umpire saw the error of his ways.
And the free taken by Molloy. They zigzag it forward towards half forward. That kick drops short of Healy. He's lost control of it. But now they're back in charge. Keogh had to flip the ball away. It was a throw, said the umpire. Went to Pyman anyway. Kicked by Pyman off the left to centre half forward. Second grab, Dennis. Play on, says the umpire. Socket defensively by Melbourne, but clear of the goal square. Robbins shepherding the ball over the line. Demamiel now on the forward line, and got a height edge on Robbins. Demamiel switched from full back to full forward. Tarkson spinning out of trouble. Boot the ball. Hasn't got the distance. Coming down in the goal square. A chance for North. Almost to Dennis. But Healy's over it, and the umpire will ball it up.
10-5, 3-4. Under 6 minutes till half-time in the VSFL Grand Final. Greg Healy, a wealth of experience there. He's played well in this term as North have got back into the game to a certain extent. Certainly matching Melbourne now after a very sluggish start. Keogh in trouble, was tackled, held it too long, says the umpire. And Bauer will get the free kick, and now Dennis and Yeats get involved.
They all get involved, and quite a few big ones thrown there. I think, well, Yeats just took it a little bit too... Oh, Andy Goodwin let a few fly, or what? In they come, and Keogh as well. Oh, and in the meantime, the goal is kicked, but that is disgraceful. I think there's a problem there with Yeats and Dennis fronting each other. Yeats was just trying to push off, but when he was pushing him off, he was pushing him in the face. I think Dennis really didn't want to get involved, but then it certainly erupted.
Well, Andy certainly learnt by his previous experience in that situation. He knew exactly what to do that time.
Yes, he didn't wait to be hit that time.
You missed him earlier, I told you.
He wasn't counter-punching that time. He made sure he got in first.
He let a few go. In the meantime, of course, Bauer got the goal, but that was secondary to what was going on all around him. All hell broke loose.
He's learned from that lesson from Michael Murphy.
10-5 to Park. I don't remember the fight.
I remember it well.
I missed that bout. So back in the middle, Doyle goes up, clean possession like Polly Farmer. He got it down to Dyson. This is Norrish, who showed great balance, a former Claremont WAFL Premiership player. Feeds it back inside. Dyson, who's been terrific, arches the back and runs away, boots it down towards half forward. Sullivan, favoured by the kick, runs onto it about 60 metres out from goal. Man comes on a lead. That's Cuthbertson. That is centimetre perfect. And Cuthbertson's got it about 40 metres from goal. Well, he threaded the eye of a needle there, Sullivan, just bending it around a player between he and the leading man, Cuthbertson, and found the man on the lead on the chest. Cuthbertson going at his fourth, and North Melbourne just recently have wrested the initiative from the Demons. This could turn things around. Cuthbertson very reliable when he kicks at goal. Not this time. He shakes the head, and the mark is held in the field of play. No, man was across the line according to the goal umpire. Must have been very close.
Doyle off for the Demons, and he's been replaced by number 42, Scott Simister.
Kick in. And comes to the front of the pack, the hand pass. Keogh goes for goal, steers it low. Was it touched? Keogh liked it, but was touched. So we can only give him a point for that one, Rod Keogh. We've heard that the AFL members area in the Great Southern Stand is already full, and they're spilling into the Northern Stand. There are plenty of gaps in the Southern Stand, but they're reserved ticket holders, but this ground is filling up. And those who couldn't reserve seats have had to come at the crack of dawn. Long to the goal square. Off hands it goes. Eccleston tries to charge through. Sullivan. It's tapped out. Goes to Scholl. His kick outside the 50. Smith. But the ball beats him over the boundary line. Will have a throw in. About half forward for Melbourne, who lead at 10-7 to 4-4. And at quarter time, it was 7-4 to a point. So North have outscored them in this quarter, 4-3.
Showing a bit of fight in more ways than one, North, now, as it's thrown in. Slapped down by the tall man there. That was Goodwin. Socket off the ground by Pyman. Out of bounds it goes. Pyman hit hard in the first minutes of the game, and has struggled since then. Maybe now just getting back into it, Pyman. Wait for this boundary throw in. Pyman 7 possessions. Pickering tackled by Buckley. They lock the ball up, and it bounced right on the wing on the Sydney 2000 logo virtually.
Bardsley off for Attard for North Melbourne.
Andy Goodwin barking the instructions, having a turn on the ball at the present time. Up he goes opposed to Armstrong. It's slapped out wide. Keogh trying to use his strength. Pyman got him. Holding the ball, says the umpire. Pretty tough call because they were virtually straight across the boundary line. Keogh goes to ground. Interesting act there by the big man. I think it was Armstrong who was walking off the ground as he put Keogh down. Meantime, it's Dennis at close quarters to McCarthy. McCarthy turns and delivers. High kick. They'll contest about 20 metres out. Awkward bounce. It pitched on its head. Trying to crash through was Barnsley down there. It's taken by Healy. Healy heads for the boundary line and runs it out just inside his own defensive 50.
Well, it certainly has livened up in this second half of the second quarter.
Thank goodness. But
North Melbourne, really, they're very inept in that first term.
Oh, big leap, but well underneath the ball. There's Burgmann, number 10, getting the first decisive kick out of that pack, up short of centre wing. Sean Smith, taken high, and will take a free kick if he's well enough.
Because he's had his injury problems in the past, Sean Smith. We see this again in replay. And pretty fierce there was Hilton on Sean Smith, but he's okay.
High leaper from Ainsley, kicks towards the 50. Goodwin was up very high. Comes to Capuano, who's just back on the ground. Attard, who's just back on the ground. Dyson didn't do anything to get rid of it. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. Might have been a bit lucky. In the centre of the ground. 67 plays 28. Under 2 minutes to half-time in the reserves grand final. Campbell palms to Hilton. The hand pass is good to Keogh. Keogh going on his merry way. 19 possessions. Simister takes the mark at half-forward flank. Left footer, ill-directed. Makes it hard for Pickering. Ran straight past it anyway, Pickering. Anderson got the hand pass to Eppelston. He's in trouble. They haven't cleared this area yet. Larkin needs to lift. Takes one high and gets a free kick.
Mathew Larkin, only five possessions so far. His third kick comes across the ground. Scholl fell over. This is Capuano in trouble. Bennett goes in, knocks the ball away from him. Tarkson stood up, got the hand pass back to Pyman. Well played. Now Pyman's got his problems. He goes down. The tackle slipped low. Advantage is paid now. Dyson was the man who tackled. Campbell is the kicker and finds Cuthbertson on the lead.
Brilliant tackle there by Kevin Dyson.
Just get the feeling North are a little top heavy, and that's one of the problems in a grade like this. They've got Capuano, McKernan and Armstrong, three very tall young players. Cuthbertson kicks meantime, and that's pretty close. He's just missed, I think. He has a behind. But the temptation is, or more particularly, I think the reality is, you need to play those players to help them get ready for senior football. And as a result, you squeeze them into your reserve side and perhaps unbalance the team in the process, but you don't like to discard them at this level of football. There's Goodwin on the outer side.
Oh, that was a mark, Dennis.
Sorry, Bert. Norrish has got it. Goes over the top to Healy. If it were mine to give, he pulls it across his body, and a great mark. That's a mark by Campbell.
He's certainly coming into the game also, Adrian Campbell.
Campbell, a centering kick. Not bad either. Simister surrounded, but goes up and takes the mark. That was a very good kick from Campbell because there were three North Melbourne players surrounding this man, but Simister able to take the mark. There's the siren. So a kick after the siren to Simister. 20-year-old from Springvale. Not a bad siren either. Simister from right on the 50 then gets under it, but it's got plenty of length. He's off to the right. Minor score. Melbourne 10-9 at the half. Lead North Melbourne 4-4, but certainly a better term that one by the Kangaroos.
But gee, it's great. Inside the ground and out. Teams back on the ground, and at half-time, Melbourne leading by 41 points over North Melbourne. Down on the boundary line, Ross Glendinning and Peter McKenna.
Pete, did you get in the Melbourne rooms? I certainly did, and I'm very well looked after in the Melbourne rooms. They've won me forever. Roscoe, Greg Wells took me into the little room and told me what was going on, gave me a cup of coffee even, had a chat. But he did say that, I didn't hear Peter Russo talk to the boys, but Greg sits up there. He's chairman of selectors or something, and he said that they have to start refocusing on the game they have to really concentrate, because North will come out, and after the fight, a few of the players lost concentration. North will come out very, very tough in the second half, and he said that the crummers have to do a lot better around the ground. They're a bit concerned about their small men.
Yes, well, Johnny Law was much happy with that second quarter, although he reflected on last week where in the second quarter of last week they kicked 11 goals against Footscray and really took the game away from the Bulldogs. He said that was much better in that quarter. They got in front, they were prepared to man up, which they weren't doing the first quarter, but he said it's a long way to go now. And the other thing he mentioned too, Pete, was that a few of these players, which I think Dennis and Drew mentioned, are now playing for their future. He said you've got a half of football to try and make up what you've done in that first half.
Yes, it'll be weighing on their minds because these clubs are going to have to make the decision in a week or two. Let's take another look from a different angle of the fight that broke out in the second quarter. And it did get pretty willing.
Yes, well, there it happened. Richard Dennis certainly didn't hold back on that occasion, and either did Andy Goodwin. And Tarkson missed, fortunately. Rod Keogh coming in to sort him out.
Tarkson, remember the previous fight, made a beeline for one player in particular.
Exactly.
And fell over.
69 plays 28, and we get underway in the second half of the reserves grand final. Big leap by McKernan in the middle. It's tapped onto Tarkson. Tarkson goes from 55 metres. Great way to start for North, but just offline through 4 behind. But that's better. About 3 touches out of the middle and bang, a long shot for goal.
Well, we saw last week it can be done, Drew, of course, with Essendon coming back from 42 points down at half-time. North Melbourne 41 points down at half-time here today.
Keogh gets it going forward. Healy gets it back to Keogh. Little toe poke out of defence. It sits up a bit. Dyson was a sitting duck then. It comes to Cracker, who's had a reprieve, back on the ground. Mann. Back to Buckley. Inside the 50 they go. But here's Yeats for Melbourne. The hand pass to Molloy. He grubbers a quick kick up towards centre wing. And there's a bit going on off the ball. A relayed free. It goes to Hilton, ex-St Kilda player. 6 games for the Saints a few seasons ago, and he's passed to half forward, nicely marked by Simister. Now it's a true half forward. Bennett quiet in the second term, but a good mark here.
He's marked very strongly out in front today, Darren Bennett. Twice Melbourne's leading goal kicker. He did kick 87 goals in a season.
Just 1 kick in the second quarter after kicking 3 goals and 7 kicks in the first term. Yeats from defence went up, couldn't take the mark. Here's Simister off the left. Out of bounds.
Scott Simister, who had the last kick of the first half. There's Danilchenko taking the resultant free kick in the right back pocket. Conditions ideal for footy. The sun is shining brightly. Hardly a cloud in the sky now. The breeze has freshened a little bit. It's going down the ground, so North running with the breeze at their back this time. Around the outer side, McKernan does brilliantly to Larkin. And they run the ball through the middle. The kick comes down towards half forward. It was Bardsley. Off hands, an opportunity now for Burgmann. Keeps it in front is Burgmann. He's on the flank. He feeds it back inside looking for Evans, holding the ball. The call though.
Yes, good decision, Dennis. He did duck his head into that, Burgmann.
Man the free. Left half forward. Centering kick. Dennis is the target. Up he goes. Knocked away though. Taken by Norrish. Deep in his own defensive area to Yeats. A couple of lookalikes. Robbins to Keogh, who's been terrific. He kicks around the outer side. Well weighted kick too, and the mark is held in front by Sullivan. I'm impressed with this young man. Looks a player. He kicks it down towards half forward. Simister in from the side. Campbell over the top.
Great mark, Adrian Campbell.
Campbell right on the 50, and you get the feeling he could develop into a valuable player for the Demons senior side next season.
Yes, here's that mark again. Adrian Campbell had a severely dislocated knee playing in the reserves final for Footscray a couple of years ago.
He misses to the near side of behind. Both sides then adding a point to start proceedings in the third term of the BSFL Grand Final. There's the time remaining. And that's Lamprill taking a look at things.
Kick in by Eppelston towards the outer side. McKernan in front. Comes off to Danilchenko. Good hand pass to Cracker. Feeds it in. They're going a lot better now. On the run, Capuano up to the 50. Tapped on by Mann. Dennis somehow gets a hand pass. It's tapped further to Mann. 30 metres out. Gets the hand pass away. Dwyer goes for the goal. And is buried. And he'll get a free kick. His shot for goal missed.
Now, it may not go to him, Drew. I think it may go to Manuel, who was held out of that contest by Haydn Robbins. Yes, that's a decision. Although the player you spoke about, Dwyer, was dealt with pretty severely, but the umpire looking at that one, so Manuel will receive this free kick from about 25 metres.
Start of the game at fullback. Was chopped up badly by Bennett in the first quarter. An ex-Teal Cup player has kicked a goal.
35 points the difference. McKernan goes up, gets it down. McCarthy couldn't control it. Against the flow, it's Molloy who boots it down towards half forward, and a clever mark is taken by Campbell, having an influence on this game to start the third term. Just props and chips the ball down towards full forward, but going back, the mark is held down there by Scholl with courage. Benolchenko across the ground, intended here for McCarthy. Norrish almost a mark. He arrived a step late to punch it away. Now an opportunity for McCarthy on his own half back line. Slips, manages to kick the ball towards the wing. Melbourne have got the numbers. Behind the pack, it's Evans. High kick back towards half forward. 3 Melbourne players in the vicinity here, and Campbell, oblivious to all of that, took a very clever mark.
That was a great mark by Campbell.
Campbell too far out to score. Goes towards Cuthbertson. Cuthbertson, was he interfered with? I thought he was. No free kick. And the ball comes towards the boundary line. It was scrambled out by Capuano. Across the line.
Yes, a big attack there on the ball there by Simister.
Across the line at right half forward then for Melbourne. Boundary throw in front of McKernan. Campbell reaches over the top. Evans on his knees. Simister gets it away to Dyson. Dyson, a very high kick towards centre half forward. It's a floater. Back goes Bardsley. It bounces once off his chest. He was able to complete the mark though and plays on by hand. This is Capuano up towards half back.
Here's kick towards centre wing. Larkin behind Healy, and a free kick paid to Healy. Now, Melbourne's last goal was at the 8-minute mark in the second quarter. At one stage, they led by 56 points. North have kicked the last 4, so a bit of a comeback going on here in the reserves grand final. Keogh. Inside the 50. Campbell out of bounds on the full. A clever mark, but bad luck for him. The kick was too wide. Scholl with the hand pass to McKernan. He dodges around Campbell. High ball to the centre of the ground. Pyman, and the ball held in, and the umpire to ball it up. So the margin's now 35. At one stage it was 56. So the flow of the game certainly going with North at the moment. It was just the first quarter. As we heard from Ross Glendinning, they didn't wake up until it was nearly quarter time. Dwyer's kick goes inside the 50. Here's Tarkson. Cracker. Dumped, high tackle, and gets the free right in front. Wants to go on quickly. Or didn't that look like Jim or Phil? A little left foot toe poke out wide for the mark taken by McCarthy.
Yes, I think that distance probably would have troubled Andrew Cracker from around 45, 48 metres. So wise move there by Andrew Cracker. And there's that tackle by Molloy. I don't know whether Cracker may have seen it coming and just ducked a little bit low.
Kick for goal by Adam McCarthy. It would have been handy. A miss to the right.
Very important kick, that one. Would have got the lead under 30 points. Still, if North get the next goal, they're in contention here. It's 34 points the margin now. Robbins to bring it in. Drives it towards the outer side. Goodwin's the target. Up he goes. McKernan fists away. Goodwin the crumbs, though. Did well. Keogh in the grasp. Back to Goodwin, who runs up towards the wing, unloaded as he kicks. It drifts down towards left half forward. Up in front, Evans. It's the opportunity behind Simister. Evans again. Across to support. Kick comes down from Hilton towards the pocket and runs out of bounds. It'll be thrown in. Left full forward. Suddenly the conviction's gone from Melbourne's play. They were irresistible in the opening term, posting 7-4 to a behind. And as Drew said, a long time since a goal. McKernan works his way in front. Bennett goes body to body with him. McKernan reaches over the top and slaps it down. Taken though by Dyson, who chips it across the goal face. Here's a chance now. Sullivan in the opposite pocket. Settles, kicks and kicks truly. They needed that one.
A steadier for the Demons, and the margin back to 40 points. North win in the middle. McKernan gets it to Larkin. Bursting through the middle is Dwyer. Long kick to full forward. Dennis gets underneath the ball. Mathew are playing the tackle on Lamprill, and the umpire to ball it up right in front. And if North can get it out of here and continue their momentum going, just maybe this game isn't all over yet. Although it did look like it at quarter time when Melbourne led 46-1. Punched goalwards, but Hilton's back there and rushes through or behind. Jeff Hilton, 6 games for St Kilda, but he's played all year in the seconds for Melbourne. Robbins kicks in towards the outer side. Doyle just back on, takes the mark. His left footer to Pickering, unmarked near centre wing. Dyson unmarked forward of centre. His left footer, Cuthbertson working to the front, but actually Eppleson did a terrific job.
Plays on, gets it to Scholl. Close quarters to Anderson, who boots it out towards the wing. Tarkson's in front and does well, using his body to shield the ball there from Molloy, and Molloy is hurt. Centering kick meantime from Tarkson finds Pyman. 2 North players on the outer side of the ground, one of whom is Dwyer, and he's taken this mark down towards half forward.
He can still get the ball on further afield if he wants to there, Dennis.
Here's Dwyer, pulls it back to McKernan, about 60 metres from goal. 11-10, 5-7. McKernan will put this deep in attack. He's going for a spiral. Gets onto it too. They'll contest about 5 metres out. Going back, the mark is held down there by Yeats. Peter McKenna's got a report on Andy Goodwin.
Yes, Andy Goodwin's got a slight cork thigh, Dennis, and I'm pretty sure he can come back on the ground at a later date.
Pickering to the outer side, and Campbell, and a long searching lead up the ground is marked at half-back.
Adrian Campbell over centre wing. 2-1 North Melbourne, and Smith takes the mark. His left footer back to centre half forward. Mann is there. Comes down to the front. Knocked out of there by Doyle. Doyle did well to get it across to Burgmann. Well, they just crunched into Burgmann. The umpire's going to ball this up on the edge of the square.
And Brad Campbell on for the Melbourne side. Number 43 for the Demons. He came to Melbourne under the father-son rule. Of course, his father Des played for the Demons as well.
He's a teal cuppa. Brad Campbell goes to school in Tongala.
We've had some big raps on him too, Drew. He doesn't look to be a very solid build, but there's been some very good reps on this player, Brad Campbell.
Oh, Healy taken high, belted to the ground, and will take the free kick. Greg Healy, an ex-captain of the club, captain of the seniors 88 to 89. He was leading goal kicker and best and fairest in 1986. Here we are, a long way down the track in 93. Dwyer's hand pass into Smith. He goes back out. Dwyer starting to get it a bit in the third quarter. Pyman in front, good mark.
He's lifting. Vanilchenko upended, but gets the kick off down towards centre half forward. Yeats reaches over Cracker to punch away. This is Larkin. Haven't seen a lot of him. He chips it out wide. Cracker will need to go now. Set a task. Yeats is closing. Good tackle. Jarred the ball free. Who's got the recovery? It doesn't matter. The ball's out of bounds. Yates and Cracker tangle, and Cracker's getting a free kick for being held.
Well, the retaliator caught again, Dennis, on that occasion.
About the 3rd time today. Cracker uses the ball well, though, and finds Mann.
And Peter Mann, they really need a lift from this player too, Peter Mann, who played the last 9 games in the seniors.
A member of the Claremont Premiership side in the WAFL back in '89, was thought of as a real prospect at that stage. Hasn't come on, but has had some serious injuries, a couple of broken legs as he misses to the near side.
I've got to say, it's a fantastic performance for Claremont to win it again this year, where they've been raped and pillaged by AFL clubs in the last couple of years, haven't they?
Yes, they've had to find a few sides. Well, I think Jared Neesham coaching over there, his 6th grand final in 7 seasons, his 4th premiership. Interesting to look at the turnover of players as Robbins kicks off. He was outside the square, but the umpire doesn't call it. Towards midfield, brilliantly done by Healy. Got the ball away to Hilton. Hilton runs it to the wing, has had 2 bounces. Now he settles and kicks down towards half forward. Not a particularly good kick. Norrish was held. Another former Claremont Premiership player. The kick, not the equal of that sort of rap, though. It floats out of bounds in the right full forward pocket on the full.
And of course, there's another one at Melbourne this year, Darren Cowell, who was one of the Norwich Rising Star nominees during the year. Eccleston, oh, good mark, Buckley.
Talking about a player with injury problems in the past, Ben Buckley certainly has had his fair share.
76 plays 38. So a rush of goals by North, and they could get back into this. We have 8 minutes to go in this quarter, and then the last quarter. Here goes Sullivan. Melbourne have kicked just 1 goal since the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. Hilton, Eccleston, actually missed with the punch, but it didn't matter. The ball cleared him and went out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. So we had Cuthbertson starting like a rocket, 2 goals in the first quarter. Bennett kicked 3 in the first quarter, and they've only added 1 between them since.
Andy Goodwin back on for the Demons as we place Burgmann.
There's Norrish. Off the ground goes Campbell, out on the full.
Danilchenko to take the free kick. He started on the bench, out of the back pocket. He chips it in short. This is Dwyer. Only about 15 metres further afield. He's still in the left back pocket. 11-10 Melbourne, 5-8 North Melbourne. Dwyer boots it towards the wing. McKernan's the target. From behind Buckley, the big lead. Doyle. McCarthy bounces off an opponent, goes across the boundary line.
What are you going to do to take a mark?
Well, that umpire thought he was Lairising a little, Drew.
Did somebody touch
him for that? May have been touch, actually. It could have been a good decision there. Buckley could have touched that, Dennis.
Touched it, but almost on the hand of Doyle. Still, Doyle makes amends. A hand pass at close quarters to Evans, who'll be penalised for holding it. Advantage won't be paid. McKernan scrambles a kick forward, but the ball will come back to Ben Buckley on the wing to take this kick. So North Melbourne working hard now after a very slow start. They trail by 45 points at quarter time. Here's Buckley. The defensive side of the wing, probing kick down towards half forward. Doyle a leaper. It runs free behind. Yeats controls it at the second attempt, feeds it out to Keogh, and Keogh's away. One of the stars of this game. He boots it out wide. Simister opposed out there by Smith. Almost the clever mark. Didn't have the ball, and the penalty goes his way. He was tackled as he was falling to the ground. May have been high as well. Simister boots it down towards the attacking 50. Gets a lot of height in his kicks. Buckley from behind, sharing himself around at the moment. Knocked on by Larkin. Opportunity out there for Dwyer. On his knees, hand passed it forward. Scholl hacks it out of midair towards half forward. Brilliantly gathered on the half volley by Cracker. Cracker feeds it to Buckley. He's really running hard at the moment, trying to lift his side. Dennis. Good mark.
Great mark, wasn't it, by Richard Dennis on the lead.
And on the 50, Dennis. The kick is not particularly good, just hangs it up. Melbourne have got the numbers down there. Doyle bought some space and time for the big man Goodwin, who's back on the ground. He gives it to Hilton. Hilton virtually walks it out, then casually kicks it out of bounds, and I suppose not a bad finish. He looked up the ground and saw only that man, number 28, not that man, but Dwyer on the outer side. There's Doyle being stretched on the boundary line.
Molloy, I think.
Oh,
Glenn Molloy.
Pardon me.
Knocked up the ground by Mann. Keogh back there. His kick back to centre wing. Flips off the hands, taken by Danilchenko. Back to centre half forward. If it gets behind the pack, North a chance here. Mark to Goodwin, a juggler.
He's done a pretty good job too, Andy Goodwin. He's been in everything.
Kicks wide to Sullivan, who has kicked Melbourne's only goal this quarter. To full forward, Bennett gets underneath it. Evans taps the ball through well, but clean ball Simister. The hand pass back is good for Eccleston. His left footer clears the area. Cracker. Is that 50? No. He goes on with the business. McCarthy goes to ground. Bennett legs him. Good chase by Bennett all the way back from the goal square to centre wing, but gave away the free kick. It's 11-10 Melbourne, 5 goals, 8 North Melbourne. The kick to centre half forward. Through goes Keogh, pretty hard at the ball. Mann. North working hard. Buckley, his left footer. Dennis. Richard Dennis, fingertip control. Goes back with his hand pass. Bardsley. High ball to the goal square. Need a mark. Attard, who's been quiet. Now they've lost it. And the hand pass out of defence from Armstrong.
Taken on the outer side by Lamprill, who chips it across to Healy. Healy has it left half back. Momentarily, a few clouds roll across the MCG. The shadows on the ground as Healy drives it towards the wing. Not a good kick though. Danilchenko drifts in front, takes the mark. Thought about playing on. Now he does. He feeds it across to support offered by Smith. Smith, a despairing lunge from Campbell affected the kick, and as a result it falls in short, and Healy once more able to take the mark. Melbourne 11-10, North Melbourne 5-8. North after a goalless opening term have worked hard to get back into it, but Melbourne keeping the advantage at the present time. Kick to the outer side. Simister comes on the lead, couldn't complete the mark, out of bounds. Ben Buckley has really run hard in this term, one of the experienced players who's trying to set an example here and get this side back into the grand final. Melbourne have lost the last 3, and you get the feeling they're not going to concede easily. McKernan flicks it behind. Loose ball opportunity for Dyson. Got it across to support. The kick from Norrish towards the outer side. Scholl hand passes, trying to give it to his own advantage. Was held without it in any case. He plays on, feeds Larkin. Larkin from half back, boots it to midfield. Healy has to camp in front of the oncoming rush from behind, but it fell nicely for him. He gives it to Goodwin. Very high kick, floats it down towards half forward. Evans is up, couldn't hang on. Opportunity for Sullivan. Back it comes to Evans. Emerges from the pack, gets the hand pass away. Dyson waited. Pyman attacked the ball. Socket off the ground by Mann. Opportunity for McKernan now. Knocked out of it was Tarkson. They're going in solidly. Doyle got it to Tarkson. That wasn't his intention. And now it's going to be a free kick to a Melbourne player. I think it's Cuthbertson, or will it be Doyle? No, Cuthbertson.
Well, way back at half back now, Darren Cuthbertson. He's kicked wide for Healy. Larkin with him. 2 former club captains playing in the reserves grand final. Healy goes to ground. Larkin still working hard, but Hilton gets it to Healy. The hand pass in. Cuthbertson steers the pass well. Mark taken here by Campbell. Short of full forward. Simister lost it. Evans been a bit of a spark, done some things since he came on this quarter, but he's holding it. Advantage is played. Mann fires out the hand pass, and North Melbourne away through Brad Scholl. Long ball to centre half forward. Oh, a very early leap, could have been free kicked. Tarkson goes backwards. Attard across the face of goal, looking for Dennis. He's got it.
Yeah, terrific mark. He's taken a couple of great marks on the lead this quarter, Richard Dennis. I think he may have been appealing there for a 50-metre penalty to be awarded to him, because Lamprill just dragged him down. There we see that mark, and dragging him down there after he'd taken it was Andrew Lamprill.
Oh, they badly need this goal, but he's hooked it, and it's through for a behind.
He hasn't kicked well today, Richard Dennis.
No, his finish has been very poor. I think probably since that knee problem that he had, Richard Dennis, his kicking certainly hasn't been as good as when he first came over to Melbourne.
So the margin is 37 points. This is Doyle in the back pocket. Gets it to Hilton. At right half back, not a lot of margin there, but he gets the ball with pinpoint accuracy across to Healy. Hard against the boundary line. So Greg Healy has been effective this afternoon. Kicks towards the wing. Up they go, the big leap from Simister. Campbell bounces off an opponent. The ball spills to McCarthy, who gained about 25 metres with a kick. Healy again cleverly. Goodwin was taken high the blind side of the umpire. He knocks it out. Larkin against the flow. Cuthbertson got him, and Larkin is penalised, not because the Melbourne player wasn't holding the ball to him, but because he didn't make an attempt. He just put his arms out.
They're poor stats, aren't they, Dennis? 5 and 5 this afternoon for Matty Larkin.
Here's McCarthy. And the ball is out of bounds. No, McCarthy has paid the mark. A trap for young players sometimes. You can be penalised even if the opponent is holding the ball to your body if you don't make an attempt. This is Buckley across to Attard, who runs through the middle. Attard near the centre circle, kicks towards half forward. Goodwin is best placed, and up he goes uncontested. Free kick? No. I thought it may have been awarded to Robbins for interference ahead, but Goodwin takes this ball and sends it to the outer side. Campbell knocks it away from Bardsley. Danilchenko, good evasion, good hand pass too, gets it across to Attard. Attard about 70 metres from goal, his centering kick, awkward one for Dennis, pitches in front of him, lays it off to Pyman, 55 metres from goal, crashing through is Dyson. He's been a star, gets it to Keogh, another one, across it comes to Armstrong, or rather Campbell. His hand pass not particularly good. Lamprill hacks it out of mid-air. Campbell needs to go on the outer side, knocked away by Buckley. In goes Scholl, flicks it across, looking for support. Anderson's there, gets it to Capuano.
Kicked by Capuano. Yeats, the only man going, takes the mark and plays on quickly to Keogh, who's directing operations near the centre. And with him, Dyson doing the same. Straight up the ground, looking for Bennett. The siren sounds for three-quarter time. A quarter of football that didn't really go very far. They kicked 1 goal each for the term. Melbourne 11-10-76, leading North 5-9-39.
7 Sports Mitsubishi Motors Mark of the Year.
Well, would you believe that on a day where in the under-18s grand final a total of 50 goals were kicked, in that quarter it was just 1 goal each. The Demons added 1-1 and the Kangaroos added 1 goal 5, 11-10-76 to 5 goals 9-39. Still the leading goal kickers are Bennett and Cuthbertson with 3 goals each. John Law, ex-North Melbourne player and coach of the reserves, having a word to his charges. Can they come back from this deficit of 37 points in the last quarter? Now we're running, and there's Peter Russo addressing the Demons at the last change. We're running this competition today, the Mark of the Year, and you can ring in and vote. And if you are the lucky viewer, you might walk away with a car by later today. Here are the details.
7 Sports.
Here's Roscoe and Pete.
Oh, desperation stakes now for North Melbourne. Did you hear anything, Ross?
Well, Pete, Johnny Law had his players in very close. I was talking to Alex Ishenko, who's been sitting on the bench for some time, and he said the greatest disappointment they've found is the fact they played so well last week. And Johnny Law said to his players, you don't lose your form overnight. He said your applications obviously is what's missing, which was what was missing in the first quarter, and they just haven't been able to get it back. He said the game's not lost. They're going to have to really lift their effort and their endeavour. And for the last 25 minutes of the game, which they've got left for this season, if they can just lift their endeavour, they might get back into the game.
Well, the Melbourne players, on the other hand, were very, very vocal. They seem to be criticising each other and ripping into each other to start thinking about the game, work a lot harder, and heard Haydn Robbins really ripping into a few of them. But they've let North Melbourne into it back a little bit after that great first term, and they've just got to go on with it and work a lot harder.
Yes, as you can see from those match stats, Melbourne well on top in most areas, 167 to 129 kicks, well on top in the handball as well. Marks 76 to 42, that's a huge difference there. Free kicks slightly in favour of North Melbourne. Tackles fairly even. Doyle doing pretty well in the ruck, 16 hit-outs to 10, and centre breaks as you would expect with Melbourne's dominance here in the ruck, 12 to 7. So they really do need something from their more experienced players, North Melbourne, in this last quarter, especially Buckley and Matty Larkin, who has been fairly quiet.
Interesting too, Bernie, no 50-metre penalties. That's unusual these days. Both sides on their best behaviour.
Especially in the grand final.
That's right. Hasn't Dyson been good?
As has Keogh around midfield.
Dyson 21 possessions, Keogh 28 possessions, 2 of their prime movers. Start of the final term and the grand final in Melbourne. With a commanding 37-point lead, they've led at every change. Their biggest, 45 at quarter time. This Sullivan slips it across to Pickering, and Pickering hoists it down towards half forward. Anderson comes up and takes the mark on his chest. He's been reliable in defence. Feeds it off to Smith. Smith boots it through midfield. Tarkson's in front. Knocked away by Cuthbertson. Roved by McCarthy. McCarthy sends it down towards the pocket. Dennis held on to surely. No free kick. Finds the ball on the ground. He's got trouble though. And company. Hilton at the base of that. Lamprill over the top. Well, as we saw, but the umpire obviously not on the correct angle. The defender clearly had hold of Richard Dennis's Guernsey. So a bounce in the pocket and the bright sunshine here at the MCG. Rucks go at it over the top. Man. Goodwin tries to knock it forward. Man comes back into the fray. Confronted there by Pickering. Man again at about the 4th attempt. He's got fatigued. It's knocked wide there by Dwyer, taken by Buckley, who slips over it, saved him as it turned out, gets to his feet, hooks it down towards full forward. Doyle goes back and punches it behind.
Ben Buckley, the skipper of the reserve side for the Kangaroos. Here's Haydn Robbins to kick in for the Demons. Favours the outer side. Man, good mark.
Well, they really just must run and run right throughout this last quarter if they are to have any chance, the North Melbourne side.
Kicked by a man to full forward. Dennis sandwiched out. It comes through to the back. The hand pass to Larkin. He's caught. He gives the hand pass back off. And a chance here for North to Bauer. Centering kick. leap from behind, and once again it is rushed through for a behind. Well, they don't need these rush behinds. They need goals.
Actually, they have outscored the Melbourne side in this, since quarter time it's been 5-10 to 4-6. So Melbourne really has gone to sleep since quarter time.
Yes, and the margin's under 6 goals. You can get that in 10 or 12 minutes, so it really isn't all over. The trend of the game would have to change remarkably, though. Lamprill. Lamprill goes straight up the centre. Oh, Doyle, excellent mark. And the 3 followers have been terrific. Doyle, Keogh, and, well, I was going to, maybe not so much the Rover, but...
well, Healy was very good in that third quarter. He certainly came into it in that third quarter, Drew.
But Dyson, who's probably played in the centre, has been great.
Now, he wouldn't be without a chance here. Adrian Campbell can boot the ball long distances.
Kicks from 55. It slides across the face. Bennett surrounded. Going up was Capuano. Goes back and finds it on the ground. May have been better advised to concede a behind. He slips it onto the boot instead, and it goes out of bounds on the full. In the right full forward pocket for Melbourne.
He's only a kid. Hasn't trained with them all year, you know. He goes to Ballarat College and played in the premiership last year for Geelong Falcons.
Yeah, this boy is very solidly built, Simister. He has the ideal physique.
Bananas it. And that's a terrific kick. A premiership winning kick.
Well, a real steadier there for the Demons. They've kicked only 2 goals since the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. Down goes Pyman. Here's Dennis getting out the hand pass to Dwyer. Off the left boot he goes. Tarkson didn't complete the mark in the field of play, and we'll have a throw in.
He had half a chance there too, Tarkson. He certainly got the first touch inside the boundary line.
Played under 19s at North, whipped over to Carlton, got 11 senior games there. Back with North. Melbourne out of defence. It's Cuthbertson, who was kicking goals earlier, and here he is in the last line of defence. Mark taken by Bardsley. Nearly 60 metres out from goal. And the ball out of play.
No, certainly won't win it with those long kicks into the forward line, the North Melbourne side. They certainly need to run it. I think the old ploy of just getting the ball and hand passing on every occasion may be their best chance in this last quarter.
Melbourne exactly double North score, 82 to 41. It's hard to see that being turned around in the last, well, less than 20 minutes, because the reserves are 20 minutes plus time on. That's out of bounds.
So they've had their chances over the years, the Melbourne reserve side. 4th successive grand final. They lost their last 3 to Carlton in 1990, Brisbane in 1991, and last year to Western. This year it looks as if the Demons will be victorious.
McKernan in front. Doyle from behind controls it well. Dyson at close quarters to Pickering, to Robbins. Awkward half volley. Buckley's got a chance now. 45 metres from goal. Throws it on the boot. Melbourne in front, though. This is Goodwin.
That's a pretty good game too, Dennis. Andy Goodwin in defence.
Yep.
Also did a stint in the ruck when Doyle was off the ground being attended to.
And has taken a couple of points decisions as well.
Yes.
That's a well-rounded afternoon as he goes to the pocket. This is Sullivan. Close to the boundary line. He goes very wide. Campbell will need to go. He's outnumbered. The ball sits up obligingly for him. Now he's got problems. Dragged off it. Hand passes away, though. But taken by Dwyer. Quick rebound opportunity. This is McCarthy. McCarthy about 80 metres from goal. His centering kick. Melbourne have got the numbers, and Keogh, who's been superb. Best on the ground this afternoon. Goodwin now. Props. And probably second best is this man, Dyson. A runner inside is Cuthbertson. Cuthbertson has the ball. He breaks to the wing. Man closing. Cuthbertson penetrating kick inside the 50. Opportunity for Simister, who kicked that last banana goal. Brilliantly done down there in defence, though, by Smith, who dived on top of it. And the ball is fed out wide towards the boundary line. Bardsley kept it in. Hand passes to his own advantage. Still he goes. Despairing lunge by Bennett. No fruit there. It did affect the kick, though. Bardsley's kick, as a result, fell in short. And defensive mark was claimed by Robbins, whose kick to Keogh was not very good. And this is very almost stationary football by Melbourne, but they bring it away. They kept their composure. Goodwin finds Bennett.
I don't think it was intended. It was a very ordinary kick off the boot from Andy Goodwin. Well, a terrific game by Rod Keogh, this year's Gardner medalist.
Oh, shocker by Bennett. You wouldn't want to be a United States college being coached by him, would you? If he goes over there in gridiron. Dwyer gets the hand pass away. DeMamiel straight up the centre. And Doyle finding support in Goodwin. Wide for Adrian Campbell, just forward of centre wing.
Very even team performance by the Demons here this afternoon.
Kick by Campbell, straight to the opposition. Buckley takes the mark. His hand pass comes in. They need to run it out of defence. Anderson, good long kick. Terrific mark taken in the middle of the pack by Mann. Peter Mann dishes out the hand pass. Scholl, and there was absolutely nobody there, and Lamprill on the last line of defence takes the mark. Here's Keogh again. Fantastic display.
Yes, possession number 33 there for Rod Keogh.
Robbins, little one round the corner. Dyson, he went out, but the ball didn't. Kevin Dyson. Oh, great play. Hand pass. The execution wasn't perfect to Healy, who went in with his elbow up to his Buckley. Buckley goes in to apply the tackle and forced the turnover of the ball. Anderson, well, there wasn't a North player within 40 metres of that kick.
Goodwin took the mark, comes away running, boots it down towards half forward. In front, the mark is held by Campbell. Liked his game, gives it to Pickering. Pickering goes out wide. Campbell. This is Brad Campbell. It was Adrian who took the mark on the lead. And Adrian's been one of the stars on the forward line, in stark contrast to North Melbourne, who really haven't had a dominant forward all day long.
It's really started around midfield, though, Dennis.
Campbell goes for distance. Has it got the carry? It has, but it's offline and behind then to the Demons, who increase their lead. And the premiership now looking well within their grasp. 12-11, plays 5-11, under 13 minutes remain. Eccleston drives it straight down the middle. That would have won the long kicking competition. He got the spiral to work. Scholl gets the hand pass out wide. Now Dwyer with plenty of space. He can run down to half forward. Has had one bounce. Could have had his second. He decides to go for distance. Well, he could have run another 10 metres. No reason why not. Perhaps it was a lack of talking as Lamprill goes back and takes the mark.
Well, it's shocking, really. He's tried to bomb one from about 60 metres out.
Yes, it wasn't a great effort there from the running play there in Dwyer. He tried to reproduce the kick from Eccleston. Just going for the torpedo on the run.
The odds of two working in succession very high.
Throw in Doyle and Mann. Sullivan. Here's Norrish. The flowing dark hair round the corner to Campbell. Bit of a fumble, but he taps the ball on looking for Bennett. Adrian Campbell back in after it again. Bennett, a good pickup. The hand pass. Don't think he'll coach that in America either. This comes back to Keogh eventually. Short pass is good. And the mark safely taken on the chest. And it looks as though it could be another Melbourne goal. Mathew Mackay.
Oh, Keogh again, he's been in everything. His possession rate has been terrific right from that first term. He set the scene in that first quarter.
This kid was delisted but trained on during the summer and was redrafted. And he's going to play in a premiership side, and that's a good goal.
In this Sunday's...
So just over 11 minutes remaining in this grand final, and the margin now is out to 48 points, as big as it's been virtually all day. It was 45 at quarter time. So Melbourne now finishing very strongly. Peter Mann will oppose Doyle. Doyle goes up and knocks it down, then tracks it down towards half forward, then feeds the hand pass directly to an opponent. Got it to Smith, and Smith boots it towards half forward for his team. Off hands, an opportunity for Tarkson, who gains about 15 metres. Buckley leads in the race on the outer side. Buckley not controlling the ball, was tackled, did pretty well to cleverly get it to foot. Now an opportunity for Cuthbertson. Deflects it across to support. Robbins with plenty of time and space to run it across the goal face. Some indecision. Now goes back to his right, runs up towards centre half back and boots towards midfield. Norrish out positioned over the top. Smith did very well on the ground, gets the hand pass off. Bardsley forward of the wing, kicks inside the 50. Goodwin comes on a run, knocks it to his own advantage. It's all Melbourne. And Lamprill comes away. He's in the back pocket, Lamprill, to Keogh. We've sung his praises often enough. He's had the ball often enough. Simister, the defensive side of the wing. Spears a pass into Sullivan. All classes Sullivan alongside the centre circle. Kicks inside the 50. Bennett up in front. Couldn't complete the mark. Still he goes, Bennett. Back to goal. Lacking support. Worked out of it. Capuano comes away. Kicks it to midfield and Buckley. On the overlap is Cracker. Cracker kicks inside the 50 and the mark is held down there by Scholl. I think the kick intended for Dennis, but Scholl has it and will kick from virtually on the 50. Brad Scholl, 20 years of age. Watch this kick. Going at North's 6th goal. It hasn't got the carry. It was touched by a North player in effect down there, Tarkson, and symptomatic really of their day. The pack collapsed and Tarkson, unaware of that almost, put the hands up to contest the mark almost as a reaction and threw his hands in a minor score. So inside the last 10 minutes.
Greg Healy behind centre half back. Ground filling up all the time for the seniors grand final. MCG bathed in sunshine. A terrific day here. What a mark by Adrian Campbell.
Yes, he's been in everything, Drew, Adrian Campbell.
Lucky kick, bouncing up all right for Yeats. Hand pass off to Pickering. To full forward. Bennett spoiled Capuano, who worked a front position. Simister, left foot snap, floats out of bounds on the full. Scott Simister, 1 goal, 2 today. Played 3 senior games this year, came up through the Teal Cup and joined Melbourne from Springvale as a full forward. Made his league debut at full back and I think did all right on Saverio Rocker. Kept him to a couple. Marking contest between 2 teammates and the winner is Brad Campbell. Drives it long, short of the goal square. Bennett from behind. Greg Eppelston gets the ball away to McCarthy. Now Dwyer. His kick up to Cracker has been pretty quiet. 9 possessions. It's a bad bounce this time. Held out of it by Molloy and will take a free. Andrew Cracker, younger brother of Phil and Jim. Centering kick and the mark taken by Anderson. Stuart Anderson to centre half forward. All Melbourne. Hand pass goes back to Hilton. Out on centre wing. He's got an absolute paddock out here. He can do what he likes, Campbell. And a beautiful pass now, just dropped short of Sullivan. But he put it in the path of Simister, which was all right. Dyson, well done. Crunched through them. And all the time in the world. Doyle. Comes to the front. Smith's back there and delivers off the hand pass.
Well, it looks anything but a grand final now. It's pretty ordinary stuff.
Yeah, there hasn't been much spark at all in the North Melbourne side, apart from about 10 minutes in that second quarter when things really livened up.
Touch of cramp there for Greg Healy. Throw in, left half forward for Melbourne. Bennett goes up. Bardsley has been pretty quiet today, one of the stars last week. Tarkson's got it now. He got it from Milchenko and he drives it towards half forward. Going back, the mark is held by McKernan. Slick hand pass away to Bauer. 35 metres out and closing. Kicks, and I think it's good. It is.
Right now, when you purchase a pack of BP Visco High Performance...
In the middle, Mann, who a few weeks ago replaced Wayne Carey at centre half forward in the seniors when Carey had his worst game of the season. And Mann hasn't been able to put a real stamp on this reserves game today. Here's Pyman. And that's going to float through. A goal. His first goal, Robert Pyman, who came to the club under controversial circumstances, was fined for tampering with the draft.
Let's have a look at this kick again from Pyman. I think he is a pretty good prospect, though, Pyman. I think we'll see a lot more of him in the future, Robert Pyman. Picked up at number 6 in the '92 national draft.
Quiet day today, nevertheless. Only 12 possessions, but as we said earlier, was hit pretty hard just after the opening bounce. Doyle did brilliantly with the body, got it down to Sullivan. Sullivan boots it out wide. It's headed for the boundary line. In fact, it will stay in, I fancy. Bardsley will be first to arrive. They're closing on him. He needs to kick it quickly, and he does, and gains about 25 metres and runs it across the line. So 13-11 to 7-12 in the grand final. There's Bardsley. Crowd starting to fill this stadium now for the big grand final. Carlton and Essendon about an hour away. Pickering smothered off the boot. Tarkson, fiery customer, forward of half back, goes down towards half forward. From behind, Goodwin in front, the clever mark. McKernan tried to lay it off. It was rather untidy. Doyle, who's been good when he's been on the ground. He was on the ground that time in more ways than one. Tried to hand pass it to support. And a Melbourne player will get a free. It's Pickering.
Yeah, she's been very solid. In fact, Doyle in the ruck uses his body very well. Is very solid.
Here's Cuthbertson on the wing. Look at Dyson, meters in the clear. How could that be allowed to happen? One of the most dangerous men on the ground, Dyson. That wasn't the intention, but he found Simister. An involuntary action there by Simister. The ball was really coming at him quickly. I think Burgmann's lead behind was the one that Dyson was eyeing, but he hit the man in front. There's Burgmann out in his own behind, some 20 metres on. So Simister, who started the term with a magnificent banana kick in the right full forward pocket, and really you felt that broke the resistance as far as North Melbourne were concerned. Simister, 48 metres out, and he puts it through for a behind. Interesting kicking style, Bernie, because he kicks it very high, Simister, doesn't he? Gets right underneath it. Still they go a fair way.
Yes, there's nothing too much wrong with the style, I don't think, Dennis.
I wasn't being critical, Bert.
He's a good build of a kid. Long kick in. Man in front, Melbourne mark. Campbell. No.
How he paid that, I'll never know.
Well,
he one touch to Buckley, and then Campbell took it immediately.
Yeah. So Buckley up to the cricket pitch area. Bardsley's kick forward, marked by Yeats. Veteran, might be another one who won't make it in a final list of 42, but you never know. He's a plenty of experience.
Oh, that's an elbow.
To Keogh. Far too late to be stopping Keogh now. And through Pickering it goes to Sullivan.
Oh, fantastic game, though, hasn't he, Keogh, today?
That's a beautiful kick to Healy. Out wide. It's the long way home, but very wide in the left half forward flank.
It was just involuntary mentioning it, Dennis.
Oh, was that the elbow?
I couldn't help it.
You dobber. Mind you, it wasn't actually in a pack, was it?
No, it was right in front of the smoker stand, right in front of the commentary box, cameras and everything else.
Yeah, here's Keogh, and here's this incident again. Scholl coming in, and thank you very much.
It's hard to miss it. Danilchenko. And Doyle takes the mark. Safe as a bank. He'll set something up with Andy Goodwin. Goodwin thumps it long. Burgmann got behind, and Capuano, young boy, takes a good mark. Ballarat College boy. The hand pass now with Mann. Straight up the centre of the ground. They wrestle for position. Melbourne players just about wrestling each other to get the ball. But Bauer gets the hand pass back to Buckley. Buckley goes long. There's nobody on the goal line. Desperate effort.
Oh.
Hilton got back there, did well. There was nobody on the goal line, but somehow he got there.
There's sensational effort there from Hilton. Here it is again. We see this in replay. Oh, fantastic effort. Well, that is desperation.
Yeah, Jeff Hilton doing very well considering the time and the score. You don't have to do that. This grand final's in the bank. Great mark on the outer side by Doyle. We've liked his game. Most impressive, Greg Doyle. He centres it and finds Pickering, who plays on immediately. Dyson through the middle. Kicks inside the 50. Bit of judgment shown by Anderson. He's tried hard in the back pocket, Anderson. First 50 of the afternoon. Gee, that was quick. Not sure what the Melbourne player did. It may have been just a metre or two over the mark. He was whistled back once, but the umpire very quick.
Simister off for Keogh. Robbins. Haydn Robbins back on for the Demons.
Anderson kicks inside the attacking 50. Crack at the crumbs, 35 metres out. Misses. So behind the North. 7-14 plays 13-12. The margin back to 34 points, and I guess at the finish it's going to flatten North Melbourne because Melbourne jumped them and have held them for most of the day, and just a few late goals in the last 10 minutes or so, improving the scoreline as far as North are concerned. Kick towards midfield. From the fist it comes forward, but only as far as Cuthbertson. His kick's a shocker,
Great
but
pass.
it finds a teammate. This is Sullivan. Sullivan really is a classy customer. Robbins is on the forward line now. Kicks down towards full forward. He'll be first back. Eccleston was pushed in the back, surely. Coming over the top was Anderson, but Eccleston will get this free. The umpire a nice angle on that play.
Kick by Eccleston. And a good mark taken over the back. McCarthy. And the hand pass, Dwyer. He got it from DeMamiel. At centre half forward is Doyle, building on the stats again. 8 marks, 25 disposals. Sullivan. His passes low to half forward, and a good mark taken by Burgmann. Kick by Burgmann. And the mark not completed down there by Mathew Mackay. Out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in. Greg Eccleston, former Footscray defender, and played a game State of Origin with Victoria. Under 2 minutes left. Danilchenko out to Pyman. His kick just outside the 50. Adrian Campbell goes back with his hand pass. There's a terrific setup again. Norrish, an underground hand pass to Molloy. Skirts around them. And he wanted to kick that 90 metres. He got about 40 and off the side of the boot. Out of play.
So just over a minute remaining, and having lost the last 3 reserves premierships, Melbourne are set to win this one. Peter Russo, their coach. They've been the dominant side all season. They finished 5 games ahead of North after the qualifying rounds. Down goes Pickering, and they've translated that form during the qualifying season into the finals. Here's Dwyer around the outer side talking with North people. I had the feeling they'd need a bit of luck and things to go their way this afternoon. Well, the contrary was true. This is McKernan, a high kick, 1-out contest, 20 metres from goal. Dennis got rid of his marker but couldn't mark the ball, got a hand to it. It's socked off the ground down there by Lamprill and bounces out of bounds in the right full forward pocket. Lamprill just making the point he wasn't quite sure what was happening around him. Needed a bit more torque. So a throw in on what is a glorious Melbourne day. The stage is set for the big one. Ball falls behind down there. Over the ball, McCarthy. Doyle tries to ferret it out. Buckley's over it now. Big crush of players and a whistle. And Doyle's game has been quite outstanding, given that he spent some time on the bench at various stages today.
It's not over tall for a ruckman either, Dennis. 190 centimetres.
That's probably going to be his problem in terms of becoming a regular in the senior side, along with Jim Steins being another one. But it's going to be tough with that size to cement a regular place, but he's been very promising. So we're about 14 seconds away from this siren, the Melbourne Premiership. And a free kick to the man we're speaking of, Doyle. He was pushed in the back, so he may have the last kick of the afternoon. If in fact he decides to kick, he does. He swings it out wide. Campbell comes on a lead, drops the mark. Dyson's got the ball. He kicks it away on the siren, and Melbourne win. 4th time lucky for them after 3 consecutive defeats. They win the State League Grand Final 13-12-90 to 7-14-56.
And a good result there for Peter Russo in his first year as the reserves coach at Melbourne. He gets a premiership, and with that win he definitely put his hand up for the Hawthorn senior coaching job, you'd reckon. Now down on the boundary or on the field of play, we have an interview. Here's Pete.
Well, Melbourne champion Graeme, Yeats number 8. Congratulations, Graeme.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Terrific effort. Got a bit tired towards the end, but the boys stuck it out and we won, which is good.
Well, you jumped them early with good forward play and you were belting it down. And what happened the last 3 terms? Did you relax a bit?
I don't know. I think they put a bit more pressure on us, and I think we maybe tired a bit. We had the week off and maybe we relaxed and we thought we had the game won, and we didn't go on with it, but luckily we sort of just hung in there and fell in by a couple of goals.
Rod Keogh and Kevin Dyson dominated around midfield?
Yeah, they've done that all year. It's a pity they didn't get more opportunities in the seniors, but they played very well. They attacked the ball hard and they deliver it perfectly.
Now, your own future, you're staying at Melbourne, or you're keen to play senior football regularly with another club? Or?
I'd just like to play senior footy wherever I can get a game. I'm happy to do that.
And your coach, Peter Russo, he's been touted as a Hawthorn coach. Impressive?
Yeah, well, all year, I mean, he's been a terrific coach. He's a great motivator and he encourages all the players. He's not negative at all, and he's a very positive coach. So if he does go on, I'm sure he'll do well.
You're not going to have a beer tonight, are you, Yatesy?
Oh, I think I might have a Jim Beam, mate, I think.
Congratulations anyway.
Graeme Yeats, veteran at Melbourne. He's played 157 senior games and he adds a reserves premiership to that list of achievements here today. And they look very pleased, don't they? Look at some of those young faces. Now, some have been around a while. You can see Darren Bennett over on the right-hand side.
Well, Drew, I think a few players there would have probably had their last chance of playing a premiership side too. I don't know whether Darren Bennett will go on next year. There's been talk that he'll retire. But at their 4th try, they've lost their last 3 grand finals. And well done to the Demons. They thoroughly deserved that. Set it up beautifully in that first quarter. And as Peter McKenna and Graeme Yeats said, they certainly they won it with Dyson and Keogh, their dominant midfielders. But Greg Doyle did well in the ruck. Bennett and Cuthbertson early in that game, especially in that first quarter, dominated proceedings. And a thoroughly well-deserved victory there to the Demons. The 1993 Reserves Premiership, or VSFL Premiership, going to the Melbourne side.
Yeah, Sullivan a good player for them as well, and we discussed the situation with developing key forwards as we go back down on the ground.
Darren Bennett, congratulations, Darren. Great start, and the ball was being belted down to your time and again, and probably the last 3 quarters slowed up a bit.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty ferocious start to the game by us. You know, we attacked the ball very well, and it sort of, I think, caught North off their guard. But to their credit, they came back in the second and third and last quarters and really, you know, made it very tough for us. And as the scoreboard shows, we didn't really get that much further away from them. So it's all the best to them, but congratulations to our boys for the win.
A couple of your bigger fellas, Goodwin and Doyle, did particularly well.
Yeah, they played very well. You know, they were sort of rock of Gibraltar across the half-back line, and you know, that's what you need in grand finals, a bit of toughness across the half-back line. And the running players, I thought, did a fantastic job to get the ball down to us, especially in the first quarter when things were pretty hard. And it's just a credit to them. You know, they've been runners up 3 times in a row, and there was a lot riding on this, you know, for a lot of the players, especially with the draft this year, you know. So I think the young blokes, to their credit, have played really well.
Now, the big $64 question, the future of Darren Bennett.
I'm not sure. I think I'm probably going to give it away and have a look at maybe coaching somewhere and having a kick somewhere for the next couple of years. But it's just great to play with a bunch of kids like this. You know, they come out and you sort of run out on the MCG and you've been doing it for 5 years and you think, well, it's, you know, still a great stadium to play at. And then you run out beside someone like Brett Evans or Brad Campbell and their mouths just open when they run out in the ground, and that sort of lifts you up and gives you a bit of drive, you know.
Well, congratulations on your fine career with Melbourne, Darren.
Thanks, Peter.
Darren Bennett there with Peter McKenna, and there's the final score in the Reserves Grand Final. The Demons 13-12-90 defeated the Kangaroos 7-14-56.
My husband didn't think we had enough room in the kitchen.
MCG filling up for the Seniors Grand Final between Essendon and Carlton, but in the meantime, in the Victorian State Football League, or the Reserves as it was known, Melbourne have broken a 3-year losing streak and have finally won a grand final, beating North Melbourne in the grand final, and the presentation is about to start.
Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls, what a great win by the Demons. And now for the presentation of the Premiership Cup, we call upon the General Manager of the Victorian State Football League, Mr. Ken Gannon, to present the Premiership Cup to the captain of Melbourne, Greg Healy.
Thank you, Michael. This game always sets the scene for a great AFL Grand Final. So on behalf of the Victorian State Football League, I'd like to invite Greg Healy, the captain of the Melbourne Football Club, to come forward to receive the Premiership Trophy.
Do you want to get Peter Russo up here, the coach? Where are you, Pete? Let's hear it for the coach. Would you like to say a few words? Greg Healy, believe it or not, is reluctant to say a few words. I can't believe it. Go on, you want to say something?
All right, I'd just like to say well done to all the boys. It was a great effort. Been the better side all year, and I think we deserve this. Well done today. Commiserations to North Melbourne, and we'll celebrate tonight. Thank you.
On you, Greg. Okay, we're going to ask the victorious Demons, I don't know whether the coach will be in this, to do a lap of honour. Come on, fellas, off you go. Bit slow out of the blocks, aren't they? Go on, take full advantage of it, fellas.
Fucking get me in it, you
Righto, photographers, let's go. A lap of honour by the premiers in the Victorian State Football League, Melbourne, the Demons. Let's hear it for them.
A mixture of experience there with youth, some of them just schoolboys and some of them, as Darren Bennett suggested, maybe at the end of their careers. We don't know what's going to happen with people like Greg Healy and Andy Goodwin, Michael Pickering and a few of the older players, but some real young faces in there and a foundation on which to build for the Demons. And I'm sure that Neil Baum will have been very interested in that performance. Perhaps not their greatest performance of the year on grand final day. Certainly it was in the first quarter, but in the last 3 quarters they actually let the opposition come back at them a bit. But, well, they beat North Melbourne in all 4 meetings during the year and were clearly the superior team, minor premiers, and they've gone on, as expected, to win the premiership. And I wonder whether that will happen in the seniors, because in the seniors, Essendon minor premiers, but then they went on to lose in the finals and had to come back through the preliminary. So it's a different set of circumstances, really. But, well, to make the double of minor premiers and then go on to win the premiership, that's the way you'd like to do it. And so often in the past, the Demons have been there, and on grand final day, high hopes held for them, but they let their supporters down, losing their last 3 grand finals in a row, but they've turned that around today. And what a scene that is for all traditional Melbourne supporters, supporters of the Melbourne Football Club. The smokers stand there, and their lap is about to bring them in front of the Melbourne members here at the MCG. Last time the seniors were in a grand final was 1988. And they lost by a record margin to Hawthorn that year by 96 points. So is this the foundation on which Melbourne can build for a seniors grand final appearance sometime in the near future? With the likes of Gary Lyon, Jim Steins in the seniors, the Phoebe brothers, they really have some sort of a basis there. And they were terrific today in season 1993 in the reserves. I just wonder what you do when you've won a reserves premiership. I don't know that they'd be too bothered about Carlton or Essendon in the seniors. They might be out of here and celebrating somewhere else before Carlton and Essendon do their battle later on this afternoon. Let's have a look at the statistics in the match, and a clear dominance to the Demons, leading in kicks, not so clearly in handballs, but a mile in front of marks. Look at that, 115 to 59. You'd rarely see such an imbalance in marking. The free kicks favoured North, but the tackles, well, they were pretty even. Hit-outs, well, we sang the praises of Doyle in the ruck. He was great. Only one 50-metre penalty for the entire day, and Melbourne won it out of the middle. But in kicking and marking, they had a clear break over North Melbourne, who, after winning the preliminary final by 80 points last week, I suppose it gave them some heart going into the grand final. But they went in as underdogs, and that's the way it proved for North, and Melbourne have won the premiership. We'll be back at the MCG after a short...